now?
Now I do.
Okay. Yeah, I had a girl from across the bar. And it's like, anybody could be that guy, the guy who knows how to be the smoothie around the girls and just...
Because he doesn't care about the girl.
Yeah.
He's like, whatever. And he came to the conclusion, I guess it was just built in his DNA or that person's DNA where they don't give a fuck about the rejection part.
Yeah, and they're not common guys. They're like a rare animal, man. Yeah. And everybody knows the guy because you've been around him at least once or twice in your life. And that's the guy that comes in. He's real funny, kind of... can be on leans towards obnoxious a little bit, but pulls it back enough to be charismatic.
My friend Bill Mann.
Yeah.
Well, did you ever meet Bill?
Was Bill at your wedding?
Yeah.
Then I probably met him.
Yeah, he was at my wedding, but he was one of those guys. I remember when we went to Cancun. We were 18 years old. First time going into a country, senior week.
Yeah.
He's walking into the hotel and he sees a girl walking out of the hotel. He just grabs the girl and starts hooking up with her. I'm like, I could never fucking do that now, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
He just, but then he gets to the point where he does get annoying, but he always used to get the girls because he didn't care.
Yeah. Well, it's like, all right, well, I'm just going to do me.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to be the one that works out tonight, there's someone right over there. I'm going to try that one over there.
Yeah.
If you're not going to, like, I was never like in that mindset, and I'm okay with that. I was never in that headset or mindset to where I could be that guy. But the other thing that when you're young that can be crippling is the fear of rejection.
All the time.
Yeah, dude, because nobody wants, isn't that crazy? Like, what do you really, if you really break it apart, what's the worst that would have happened?
Cost you $10 for a drink?
For a drink? Maybe they turn around, they act snotty towards you, or they just, do something real bitchy or something like that, and they're just not being kind, right?
Right.
They're just not being kind, and then you might, if your ego's that brittle, which mine definitely was, then you're gonna dwell on it, you're gonna think about it, you're gonna I was an asshole, and you're gonna be afraid to do it again.
Oh yeah.
And then, but what I was telling you earlier was, I had hanging out with some friends. I had a girl buy me a drink from across the bar. And I'm like, oh, wow. I think it may have only happened like one time before that. And I was like, all right. And I wasn't like timid or shy. I needed to have that safe zone, right? She bought me a drink, so obviously there's an interest.
Did you buy her one back at least?
No, I walked around with the drink she bought me, and I went to strike up a conversation.
Okay.
But when I got around, she looked at me and she's like, "Oh, you're not who I thought you are, or who I thought you." She thought I was somebody else, right? And I was like, but she was like, looked at me like I disappointed her right away.
Yeah.
And this could have all been in my head. Who knows? And then she turned around and didn't even continue the conversation. Like, it's okay if you're not interested in me. If you bought a drink, we could talk and then I'll go back with my buddies. I don't care. But she kind of like laughed a little bit, turned around, and then just walled me out. And I was like, it wasn't even like a conversation starter. And back then, I mean, now you're like, who cares?
Yeah.
It doesn't, I mean, even if we were, maybe 10 years younger, but had the same headspace, right? Had that confidence, it would be like, okay, it was a mistake. I'm going to go back and finish my drink.
Yeah.
We'd have been like, oh my God, I got a free drink.
Yeah. How does a guy ever get a free drink at a bar? Not unless you're at a gay bar.
Yeah. Well,
Then they're all free drinks.
Well, could be. All depends.
It all depends on who's pitching and catching, I guess.
All right. You want to get into this?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Nick, Jon, and Jamie Show. I am John.
I'm Nick.
And...
No Jamie.
No Jamie. Jamie had a last minute unexpected thing to take care of. And we are without Jamie. Yet again this week, Jamie, I'm going to pour a little out for you because you are sorely missed, my friend. So let's get into it. We have weekend box office. What do you think led the box office, Nicholas?
I keep forgetting what's out. Wasn't Zombieland because I didn't lead last week. What is out? I don't remember what's out.
So,
because it's like a dull time right now.
Yeah. So for the weekend of October 25th through the 27th, 2019.
Was it Joker again?
Joker. hop back up to number one spot. So
You said it's good.
it is good, and I think people. I was wondering if it was just going to spike as a sort of a curiosity, and then people would be like, "It's dark, and it's not for kids, and it's a really really heavy movie." Maybe it would have went.
Well,
died out.
you would think with the way they make movies nowadays, most filmmakers don't shy away from going to the edge. And you got a movie called The Joker.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be suitable for kids.
No.
Just use your noggin, though.
Yeah, well,
but I did have somebody ask me what's the two elements in water today, so
That's
pretty rough there, sis.
What are the elements in water?
Yeah.
So number 2. I'm sorry you're on that keto, brother.
Yeah.
That super session is tasty. Number 2 at the box
Dick.
office. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Did about $18 million. It's the second week in the box office. Did a total gross $65 million.
So is that what it cost to have Angelina Jolie in the movie? Was $18 million? Probably.
Yeah.
She's about a $15-20 million payday, right?
Yeah, easily. I mean, let's face it. Who else is going to take on that role, especially since she's already played the part?
Yeah. I didn't really. You know what? I got to retract it. I think I told somebody this week. I might have said it on a podcast. I was never really a fan of Maleficent.
Nah, you know what? It's definitely. I thought that they did a good live action kids movie.
It was fine. I just
Yeah.
never was a fan of the original movie. Don't really care.
It was never even a thing except for the villain in what's it, Snow White
Yeah.
or Sleeping Beauty? Snow
I don't
White.
know. Was she in either one?
Yeah, that's where they got him from.
I think it's Sleeping Beauty then.
Was it?
Because Snow White was the queen that looks into the mirror.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
The evil queen or whatever her name is. Has to be Sleeping Beauty. But to my point is it just never like it's like I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but there's like Disney movies, 101 Dalmatians, Lady in the Train.
They got another one of those coming out.
Yeah.
Dalmatians?
Yeah, somebody else
Jesus,
is playing. I
man.
think what's her face from The Notebook is playing it.
They did that to death.
Oh yeah, it's kind of getting ridiculous with that. And some of those movies I just early on Disney movies just didn't.
Yeah, I hear you, man. The back to the box office. Let's
Sure.
get through this box office. The Addams Family, the animated one. I heard it's really good. It did. It came in third. Did $11 million at the box office. It's about $72 million total gross. No overwhelming desire.
No, but I do remember the original Addams Family movie with Christina Ricci and
Oh yeah, and Raul Julia.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
The
that
first
was
one was
good.
good.
And Christopher Lloyd played Uncle Fester.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. God, I didn't even know that.
You know what? That was good. And I
That
love
was
Raul
good.
Julia as Gomez.
Yeah, he was good.
Damn, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Hello, Sally.
I didn't because not from that movie, but from when you actually started seeing Christina Ricci in real life.
Oh, she turned a corner. She went from
She-
little girl to hot girl.
Oh, she was
Yeah.
a hot little girl. That's even better.
Yeah, she's real tiny.
Yes. Who doesn't like a little tiny hot girl? I'm in.
I like them a little taller, man. I got my wife's 5'9".
You can have a little more fun with this smaller.
Do a floor routine on the. Never mind.
I once, we were talking earlier about, scenes. I once stopped dating a girl because she was taller than me.
Oh, wow! That's tall, man.
I
But
just,
you're not a short guy.
I don't like girls taller than me. I don't.
I wouldn't.
I just don't like
You'll
it.
be all right.
I mean, as far as continuously dating, it's not something that attracts me.
Nah, I like a tall girl, man.
I know you do. Well,
Yeah,
you're taller than me.
Not by much.
No, not by much.
I got giant hands too.
You know what they say about big hands?
My
Little toes.
Yeah. Dude, I stubbed my toe nasty when was it? Oh, I know what it was. One of the dogs started growling at Noah.
Oh,
And then-
absolutely not.
Yeah, I was like, nope, and I got up real quick and stubbed my toe on the ottoman, and I was like, holy shit! Then the next day, dude, it's all kinds of black and purple and bruised up. Sounds like a haunted house.
Yeah, right. It is Halloween, right?
Yeah.
I got a broken toe story.
But dude, and the thing is, man, is like the blood pools down to your extremities, and you're like, it's really looks a lot worse than it actually is. Hey, Jack. We have a wandering.
Well, my broken toe
15-year-old.
story is I did move out of my house the first place I lived when I moved out of home. I moved in with these my buddy and a couple of his friends. My buddy was cool, but his friends were total dicks.
Yeah.
But we lived above. We were in an old house in the middle of Ridley Park, and it had a big long hallway. And it's one of those radiator heated houses.
Yeah.
So I was wasted one night coming home from the bar. The bar happened to be right below our apartment. So
That was always like a dream of mine. Like especially when you're young.
yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I just didn't like the guys I lived with, except for there was like two other dudes that lived there that were total assholes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I stub my toe. I smack it against this freaking radiator because I'm stumbling through the hallway, wasted. Mm-hmm. And
You break it?
well, here's the thing.
Okay.
I don't think I did, but you know how when you get drunk and you're like, oh, you bang your elbow and like you're trying to rub it.
Yeah.
And you're always like, oh man, it fucking hurts. So I'm like wasted in the room playing with my toe. I think I broke it messing with it
Oh.
because I heard a snap and then I passed out. And then the next morning I couldn't walk.
Jesus.
I couldn't walk and it's a pinky toe. They can't fix a pinky
Yeah, they're
toe.
not doing shit with it.
So I
The useless appendage.
barely could walk for 2 days.
Yikes.
Yeah.
The only I don't know, I might have told you this story. I used to work at well, of course I worked at Home Depot. But years ago, I'm doing a store
We should
set.
get them as a sponsor. You bring them up all the
You know,
time.
they get a lot of free advertising.
My company I work with now, I probably brought up maybe twice.
Between that and Kevin Smith. But I'm doing a store set there, and we're doing the backing, the basically inside a bay where all the displays for these toilets are.
Yeah.
We're cutting 3/4 inch particle board that's got a melamine face on it, like a white glossy face on the front. 3/4 inch by 10 feet, not the 8-footers.
Okay.
3/4 inch, 4x10. Anyway, not important. I'm going to put it on a panel saw, just to zip and cut it into to the sizes we need. And as I'm putting it on the track for the panel saw, it slips out of my hand and boom, it's just like a guillotine comes down on my big toe. I'm like, holy shit.
Ooh.
I'm like my head, the top of my head was going to pop off. And then it started to swell, and it was right where the cuticle is in the nail. Nick, it swelled so much it like popped up like baked bread.
Oh, yeah.
And there was just blood trapped underneath the nail.
Became all black.
Every time my heart beat, I could feel it in my toe.
Throbbing.
And so, yes, exactly. So I go to my buddy Todd, and I was basically like, hey, man, I got my shoe off, and it's all jammed up. I said, go down, mark down a grill igniter,
Yep.
and a 16th inch drill bit. And so he came down. I put it in my end of my drill. I torched the end of the drill bit, and I just go bzz, bzz, bzz in my big toe. The stream shot up. I was sitting down. I shot up probably about 4 or 5 feet, and then came down. The guy that I worked with, this guy Joe, he's looking at me like he's looking at science fiction. He's like, I've never seen a fucking that is crazy. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. Holy shit.
That's funny.
And then the nail came off, and it was just this nail with a hole in it. And I was chasing my sister around the house with it. I was like, hey, put it around your neck. It'll be like a keepsake.
Yeah. That's funny.
Anyway, so Zombieland is fourth at the box office with $11 million. Still in the top 5. I'm rooting for that movie, even though it was...
Yeah,
wasn't as good as
you're
the
only
first
rooting
one.
for it because we just have nostalgia for that first
I do
one.
have a fondness.
First one was awesome.
It was. And then that movie, the horror movie Countdown, that just came out last week, did $8 million. That's the one where the app, if you get the app, you download it and the numbers tick back, and if it hits 0, then you get killed. It's like Final Destination, shit like that type of movie.
You lost me when you said app and
Yeah.
killing. It's just ridiculous.
It's like an app version of like The Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good.
No.
Anyway, so in the news, not much in the news. I'll tell you what.
I I do have some Star Wars news. What was it? There was something. Damn it.
Mandalorian. The trailer's going to be coming out tonight.
I did. I watched it before.
Oh, you did? Well, do tell, man.
It was on TV. I was like, what the hell is this? This is another episode 9?
You caught it by accident?
Caught it by fucking accident. It was on TV. I swear to God.
I was like, where is this going to be playing?
It was on, we were watching TNT because that's where the Marvel movies Shannon was watching. I just kept it on.
Fuck.
And I'm doing something and I'm like, is this I saw the Lucasfilm thing come up. I'm thinking this is episode 9's trailer popping on TV. And I'm like, he's not in episode 9. I couldn't put it together. I forgot about the Mandalorian. Looked really good. It had some new shots in it, but it had a lot to the original that we saw before.
Any Kerry Russell?
No, Kerry Russell's in 9.
Oh, that's right. I'm confused.
See, I got confused with the same thing. But it really did look cool. Some of the screenshots. They even have some shots in space. What's his face still doesn't talk, though, the Mandalorian, the guy that's playing the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I still didn't hear him say anything.
I'm okay with that.
He's a good actor, though.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor.
You just like the mystique of being, like, dark.
It's like old spaghetti westerns with Clint Eastwood. You know, he maybe said, like, 2 or 3 things the whole...
It just got you.
Yeah, you just be a badass, man. What else? You know what? I don't have a lot on news, honestly. Except for the stuff that's coming out. I mean, we got the Mandalorian coming out. You got Terminator Dark Fate coming out.
Jack Ryan.
Everything that's coming out in November. November is going to be gangbusters.
November and December, because you got a ton of stuff coming out. I'm super excited about pretty much everything because they really fucking, like, the last month and a half sucked.
Yeah.
There has been nothing, like, I can't even think of a show that I watched in the last month and a half that wow, it blew my fucking mind.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping for that. So we're 2 episodes in on Watchmen. I've been 1, but the first one didn't grab me. It's still really slow. Yeah, like it has some. I need to keep your interest, so I'm gonna put some gratuitous action scenes in here. I don't know how much it serves the story, but we promised you action, so I'm going to put them in there. That's what it feels like on the first one, and even some of the second one. I feel like there's going to be a deeper story, especially with in this second episode. There's a ton of references to Dr. Manhattan. There's a whole thing with Ozymandias.
Well, they showed Dr. Manhattan in the first episode. On the TV. Yeah. So, like, they have eyes on him doing whatever he's been doing in Mars for the past 30 years.
Yeah. But I think that I know that was my favorite part of the movie. And I don't think I'm alone in Zack Snyder's movie. All the parts with Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, yeah. Because he's by far the most interesting character.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, what is he doing? What is he becoming? You know, and I do like that was some intrigue with somebody that is smarter than him can outsmart, but still he's the most intriguing character.
Absolutely. And so I was happy that they mentioned him more than they mentioned him in the first episode. I was happy that you see that Ozymandias is a lunatic. He's a mad genius. And
you said his pretty much his power was being the smartest person ever to live.
Yeah, but I think
something like that.
Yeah, right? Totally. Well, it's that, but it's like compounded. Like, if you're the smartest person on the planet, can you be smart enough to make yourself faster, stronger?
And he did that.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, yeah, in that sense, his brain fueled everything else.
Yeah, because did he have those powers before?
I just remember him being the smartest person on the planet. I've never gone deep and seeing, like, all right, here's a list of his superpowers according to the Marvel.
Because outside Dr. Manhattan, he's super strong, super fast, and super smart. I mean, outside Dr. Manhattan, it's like, and
everybody else is like that too.
Yeah,
but not as smart. Like,
but that's what I mean when you add that super genius to it, yes. Where like he could see anything happening. He manipulates every possibility to his advantage. It's kind of like Senator Palpatine in Star Wars when he did the first couple of years. That was his claim to fame. His superpower of all Jedis is he could manipulate the future to what he wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you know what it really reminds me of? It reminds me of Sherlock Holmes. The Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes.
Moriarty?
No, I mean Sherlock Holmes. Like when they do the slow-mo thing and he calculates every risk in every aspect.
The movie from Robert Downey Jr. It was really cool.
Exactly.
Like he's hit to the ribs. He's going to go back on the round.
Totally.
I'll get him in the head after that. And,
I love that shit. But it seems like
they're coming out with another one.
Good. It seems like Ozymandias is like that only times 10.
Yeah, and that's what's scary. It's like... did you ever watch what the fuck, the Noel Wiley show that was about the aliens at the end of the world?
Was it a miniseries or a show?
It's like a show. It was Fire or something. Anyway, there was a show with Noel Wiley, a kid from ER.
Not The Librarian.
No. He had a show that was futuristic based.
Oh, yeah.
It was apocalyptic futuristic based where these aliens came out and wiped out half the earth.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
Anyway. Why I'm bringing this point up about that show is because when he finally runs into the aliens, these aliens are super smart to be able to know exactly, almost like reading body language, but just knowing exactly what's going to happen to chain of events of how if you did this, you did that. Their IQ was like 5 million.
It's like chess to the nth degree.
Right. It's like playing chess
when someone knows a million moves ahead of you.
Well, yeah. Exactly. It's not going to work. So it was just clever how they did it, but then
Falling Skies,
that was it. It's a great show until the last season they ran out of money and they ended it.
Falling budgets.
Yeah. But it was a good show, and it was kind of like that aspect where the person's just so smart and the being is so smart, and it's like even though, like, say if there was like a race to the refrigerator over here, and I'm 10 feet in front of you, he's over there, I'm 10 feet in front of him, he'd still find a way to beat me because he's just that smart and knows what I will do if he does, like, he hits something at me or often, you know what I mean? He can read the chain of events.
Yeah, like it's super chess player.
Yeah.
So, anything else? Any other news? Like I said, there's pretty slow news week.
I thought there was something along the Mandalorian front. Supposedly there's going to be something in the first episode of the Mandalorian that's a huge reference, I'm assuming. Huge reference to the previous trilogy. Like, fuck. I read this too right before I came over. It's like I can't think of it. Maybe R2-D2 will be in it or something. Who knows?
Well, we'll just say it's a slow news day. What I want to get into is, well, two things. We mentioned the Watchmen. It's still kind of dark. It's still got a lot of intrigue as far as like what's going to happen next. But you're also piecing together lots of things, and
right.
So I don't like being held out in the wind that much. I like a little bit of understanding early on, and
to pull you in, to give you some.
Yeah, and if HBO and the creators of this series like waits till episode 8 to introduce Manhattan, or then it starts, or the last 2 episodes they start delivering shit, I'm going to be pissed.
Well, see, the one thing, like, you look back at Game of Thrones,
yeah,
they did it in the very first episode. It's not the sense
man.
It's not the sense of you want to know the whole plot. You just want to know somebody to hate.
Yeah,
it's like Lannisters when Jaime threw what's his face out the window. The future king fuckers killed his ass. When he threw him out the window, you started hating the Lannisters right fucking there.
Yeah, you knew what side you were on.
You're like, I fucking hate them, man. I'm on the Starks. Right here, it's like, I know what's his face is bad. He's evil. Yeah. But I feel they just go that route. It'd be kind of obvious.
So he said, the thing that starts to intrigue me more and more about this, and I feel bad for people that don't have any context. Like, if they haven't read or if they haven't watched the movie,
that's going to be hard.
It's going to be hard. Yeah,
they should have eased somebody in with like maybe an episode 2 of a backstory a little bit. You don't need to go into 30 years in the past, but you could have been like just somebody explaining at some point in the episode the context of everything that's been going on.
Yeah. Like, ground me a little bit. And it doesn't have to, don't treat me like I'm an idiot. Like, you don't have to have a you just don't have to hold my hand. Just give me a little bit more to chew on. So you're keeping me interested. Not, like I said before, not just, I don't need a fight scene to keep me interested. I need good storytelling to keep me interested. And it's got a lot of potential from some of the seeds that they planted so far. But
you got to get to something soon.
Yeah, give me something to chew on, because I got about 2 more episodes of ambiguity, and then I'm probably going to check something else out.
And there's a problem right there with it, because you've read the comics.
Yeah.
So you have a lot more of what you call a baseline to go off of. Guys like me, the only thing I've ever seen was the movie, and I haven't even seen it recently.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm going into it thinking, ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
Get me going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me a rug, give me a tug, get me going. Come on.
Exactly. But I'm still sticking it out. The other thing that we have opening up this weekend is, or hitting this weekend, is The Irishman.
Oh, that comes out this weekend?
Yeah, November 1st.
Oh,
November 1st
dude, that looks so fucking good.
Yeah, man.
And that's like a Netflix movie, so I guess Steven Spielberg said he can't win an Oscar, so.
Yeah, right.
Now Steven Spielberg siding with, who were the 2 dickheads?
Scorsese and Coppola.
Yeah, he made a comment saying about Marvel movies. He goes, the only one he really liked was Guardians. Well, he liked them, but the only one he really appreciates or something is Guardians.
Yeah, he didn't totally. I read some of the quotes. He didn't totally shit on it, but he definitely didn't sign up for that. That's not in his wheelhouse.
What, that 10 years of setting something up and
whatever it is, it's, I think Steven Spielberg should be like a little bit more, hey man, it's all entertainment, it's all fun,
because most of his
I
shit
just
was
did
that.
Ready Player One.
Yeah, that was all about fucking entertainment.
You know what I mean?
He wasn't winning an Oscar
like,
for that
come
shit.
out and put your dick on the table and just be like, own it.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey man, I like popcorn just like anybody else. And if someone's going to put their pinky out and go film or cinema, then I'm going to be like, you sound like a douchebag.
Yeah. They're all movies.
Cinema. It's not cinema. It's like, go fuck
I'm sorry.
yourself. Come on. These guys were the rebels, man. These guys were the rebel filmmakers back in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s.
You know what cracks me up, though, is all...
Or 70s, yeah.
Those 2, not Spielberg, those 2, Coppola and Scorsese.
Yeah.
Dude, they only know how to do one type of movie. He does a gangster movie, and the other one does gangster movies too. But it's like,
no, he switched it up with Gangs of New York.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like, dude, you do the same shit. They do the same shit. I'm sorry, they just want to use a green screen. You fucking don't.
Yeah.
You know,
and guy,
why do you gotta put people down for doing a fantastic job? Yeah. And probably, sorry, but that has to be a harder directing job, using more of your imagination than doing what you do when you can still see a backdrop or, you know.
Dude, it's like...
it's very petty.
There is... people get up their own ass about art, right? Especially if they're really, really successful and they got a lot of people telling them how smart they are.
Right.
And so... Do I think... It doesn't mean... It sounds weird coming from us because we shit on a lot of stuff, but it doesn't mean you have to shit on it. You know what I mean? You're at the top of the hill.
No, we're allowed to shit on things because we're just average Joes. These guys are the top of their form, top of their profession. And you're sitting there belittling the 2...
That's a great point.
2 guys that are doing it, that Josh Wheat, not...
All of them
that do it. And you're getting criticized. They probably idolize you. It's a horrible feeling. It's very insensitive, especially considering it's a different kind of movie than you guys do.
That's a good point.
I think it's wrong.
I mean, we're going to have to stop doing this once we're super famous.
No, then we'll just get paid for it and be on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, how much for that movie review? It's not quite good enough. That's only about a 59%.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I want non-sequential bills in an unmarked envelope.
I don't even think they hide it that easily. I think they just lay it out there.
Oh yeah.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah, come on. What else? Okay, so back to what we're looking forward to. Are you going to see Terminator Dark Fate?
Nope.
Nah, it's probably wait for...
that Terminator shit sale with me with Terminator 2. Loved it. Didn't like anything after that.
Yeah, and that's why the marketing is very careful about saying it's a continuation from 2.
I didn't hate some of them, like the one that Christian Bale did wasn't bad. The future one.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
That was cool. I like seeing that aspect of it because you always wondered what happened in the future.
Sure.
And then the third one was okay. That was where how you saw John Connor become the person, how he became the person he was.
Yeah, yeah.
But
they're all entertaining enough, but like a Saturday morning cartoon entertaining. You know, you're not going for the experience you had with Terminator 1 or 2. You're just gonna visit this little nugget, this tasty little nugget. That's not a meal. It's just something to do.
You know me. I like things that are all wrapped up in a little bow. And even with science, I want it somewhat believable for me to like it.
Yeah.
I just don't believe which one came first, the chicken or the egg. I hate that paradox. And I just don't like movies that do that because it's just a big circle. Something had to start it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And supposedly if he never went back in time, the dad had impregnated the mom, John Connor would have never been born.
But if John Connor was never born, there never would have been a resistance.
Right. And his dad would have died. So his dad never would have came back in time.
Yeah.
So it's just...
So the world would have ended.
Yes. So how would the guy go back in time? That's what I mean. You're getting me, John. I fucking hate you. You know, that's why I like the Endgame explanation. It just opens up different...
That explanation can apply in this case. You know, it's like, okay, well, you just forked off into a different reality. You didn't change that future. You just created a new multiverse type of thing.
But you still had to, from another universe, still had to have somebody go back in time.
Never mind.
See, it's going to give me a fucking headache, dude. All right, move on.
All right, let's get to the topic. Topic of the day. War. What is it good for, Nicholas? It's not good for anything except after the fact.
Guys
when
like
it
us
becomes entertainment.
Yeah, after guys like us can... Now I feel bad about talking about this topic. All those brave men and women that died for our country, and I'm sitting here just talking about this topic. But anyway.
Well, you know, those brave men and women like a good war movie, too.
Yeah, they do.
You know, at least...
as long as the heroes win.
Of course.
For our side.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're heroes.
Yeah, right. How about that you just reminded me of Man in the High Castle.
Such a good show.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're just going to talk and like we normally do. And I grabbed a handful of movies that I thought were my most, my top 5-ish war movies. Now, we did lay some ground rules in the conversation we had last week, which was we're not going to break outside of history. For the most part. We might have an honorable mention for Star Wars, of course, or something like that.
I was trying to stay within the history.
Yeah, and that's the rules I'm going to abide by.
I mean, it still could be fiction, but within our history.
Yes.
Like
Something
Glorious
that ties
Bastards, Glorious Bastards.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, it's always a good one just because how it was shot. I thought it was good. I never actually, you know what's funny? I've never actually seen the end of it. It's not that I didn't like it.
Oh, you didn't?
Not that I didn't like it. I just always got sidetracked. And then I got tired of picking up at the same point.
So we're going to spoil some shit, obviously. What part did you see up to?
I got to the part where they were just trying to get ready to kill Hitler in a theater.
Oh, shit, man. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, every time I get to that part. I know it's like in the middle.
You got to watch it, man.
Yeah, I know. Everybody gives me
It's everything.
Everybody's like,
I can't believe nobody spoiled it for you.
I know. It's everything, the ending.
Yes.
I gotta watch it.
It's really, really something else. So, do you want to go first, or do you want to go back and forth?
We'll go back and forth. I find that funnier because then we just it just flows better.
All right, I will go start first. Us out because I got to grab a beer.
I will say the Battle of Midway, the one I was talking about, not the one coming out because it does look good, but the original.
Oh, that's right. You said there was. I didn't even know there was an original. Like a one before the one that's
Yeah,
coming
I'd show
out.
you the trailer, remember?
Yes.
Has Charlton Heston, has a lot of old-time good actors.
Had the real footage in it.
Some of them did, some real
Yeah.
clips. It was real great. It's just an awesome movie, and they have a lot of, like, history in it, like little tidbits. Some, obviously, they created a backstory of some points that nobody really, but they just did. It's like filling a movie.
Yeah.
But there's no one star of the movie.
Yes.
It was really well done. I just, it's older. It's a little.
Well, how old were you when you saw it?
Came out in 78, I think. 76 or something like that. I probably saw it. My mom watched it a lot. Probably when I was like 9, 10 years old.
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So, I mean, we'll see if this one coming up can equal it in my eyes.
Trailer doesn't look bad.
Doesn't look bad. I didn't know Dennis Quaid was in it.
Oh, yeah.
Probably plays Halsey.
That's, you know what
That is in the news, though, this week. I do want to add a little thing to the news.
what's that?
Dennis Quaid got married recently.
What the fuck? Why would he get married? Did he seriously get married to that young girl?
To a 27-year-old?
Yes.
Yes.
Holy shit.
He's like old enough to be her grandfather.
Dude.
To have sex, keep up with that, you're popping Viagra's constantly.
Dude, he's fit as a fiddle, man.
Oh, he looks great. He looks
Yeah.
great. And he's had some work done. You can tell.
Of course.
But you did a motherfucker like 27-year-old girl. If I had a 27-year-old girl right now, I would be like, that would be a lot of fun. But I'd be tired halfway through it.
Oh man, why would you get married?
I don't know. She wanted his money. Why do you think she's with him?
Yeah, that's true.
He looks good for his age, but no 70s.
It's just
68.
references, right? Like how? I mean, to each his own. God bless him, man. If the guy's happy, he's happy. That's great for him. But there is references, everyday experiences, the wisdom that you carry with you because you've been alive for as long as you have, and he's in his 60s easily.
67, I think.
Shit. Right? When are you going to turn around and be like, hey, you want to talk a little politics? Do you want to talk about whatever? And who knows? She might be some exceptional girl who's got a depth of curiosity. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
But fuck, man, I can't think that there's a lot they have in common. Yeah. I'm talking about the depth of their conversations. You dummy.
Yeah, he's saying his granddaughter has friends her age. Do you know her? Do you hang out?
Jeez. Ew, Dennis Quaid's a whole perv.
Well, maybe that's how he met her. I don't know.
He's like,
his granddaughter came over to visit one day. He's like, how you doing?
that's Dennis Quaid? Yeah,
He looks good for an old man.
Hey, you want to watch?
That wrinkly.
You want to watch Inner Space? Oh, Jesus Christ! Good for him. Cheers to you.
Cheers to Dennis
Cheers
Quaid.
to you, Dennis Quaid.
Because you know what? We might be talking shit on him, but we envy the motherfucker.
And he was with Meg Ryan when she was like super cute.
He's been around the block, man. He's had some good. He hangs in there, man. I'd say Dennis Quaid's probably more popular now than he was when his heyday, when he was in his early 20s.
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe. I know and I like he reminds me of like a Tom Hanks type, just an everyday Joe. He like when he's on Ellen, he'll go like, into a coffee shop or something, and Ellen will be in his earpiece and she'll tell him to say all kinds of ridiculous shit.
Yeah. That's how he met his girlfriend then, right?
Yeah, that's where he met her. And
how you doing, sexy?
And he just and he just goes with it in a very just fun.
Well, Ellen's also I seen her do these things, and it's funny, but she will not put them out there like where they seriously can get in any trouble.
No,
Sets up to be fun.
It's daytime television.
Yeah.
So in no particular order, I do have a favorite though. And I think
I thought we were working our way up. That's not my favorite.
Yeah, we're gonna go from the bottom, at least to the. No.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good.
Because
good.
Millie wasn't my favorite.
No, I didn't say it was your favorite. I just thought you plucked it out of random.
No.
Okay, all right. So
I'm
you're going
going 5.
All right, 5. This is the 5th.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. I'm glad you said that because I was having a moment. All right, I'm going to say My least is going to be MASH.
Fuck, I forgot about MASH.
Yeah.
All right, that's my number. That's my number 4 then.
Okay.
that I have to put that on there. Damn, man, I forgot about MASH. One of my all-time favorite movies.
Well, you're the one that made it, kind of reinvigorated it in my brain because we started talking about it on the show, and I was like, and I recently watched it. Well, not recently, probably about a month and a half, 2 months ago.
But still, it's recent.
Yeah. And it's good, man. It's so good. And I don't care that it's, it's got that old filmy stock.
That makes it perfect.
Yes.
Though. It like holds true to like what they talk about. It's very like it's not like you're going into it like, oh man, this is like an old movie. But no, it's very rated R for its time.
Dude, Donald Sutherland, Elliot Gould, like
they're awesome,
the best. And I can't believe it. Like I was a lot younger, but when I saw it, when I watched the television show. Like, I had no point of reference for the MASH movie. Mm-hmm. And then people were saying, like, people would say, oh, yeah, it's based on a movie. And even then, I don't even think I was old enough to even watch it. So my Hawkeye was always the Hawkeye from
Alan
Alda.
Alan Alda, that's it.
Yeah, it was always the Hawkeye from the television show. And then, as I got a little older and I've watched and rewatched MASH, the movie, I'm like, God damn, Donald Sutherland. He's a legit Hawkeye.
He was a fucking great actor. And what's his face was a legit trapper.
Yeah.
He was more the trapper. Trapper was just badass, like one of the best surgeons in the world.
Yeah, that was the most charming thing about it too, man. It was like they had...
Who else was in that? Who played the other little guy?
It was Gary Berghoff. I'm looking at the cast right now.
Yeah, he's a good... He
was the only one that transferred over to from the movie.
Oh, you're talking about, I'm not talking about Radar. You're talking about Radar.
Yeah, Radar.
I was talking about, what's his face? He played in Top Gun's...
Tom Skerritt.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
about. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, because he wanted to fuck Margaret Houlihan.
Hot Lips Houlihan.
Hot Lips Houlihan. He's all about her. He's like, yeah. The best is when she was showering and they all had it laid out. They put down the shower and she's like, ah! Those were titties. It was... I make noises when I do this podcast. Everybody understands that. But if you've seen the movie, you totally would understand the part.
Yeah, it's a full frontal, man.
Yeah, for that time, I think it had to be 70s, right?
Yeah,
early 80s.
It's 1970.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for that time to be in the movies, a full frontal is unheard of.
Yeah, dude,
you had to go to some weird movie theater in the back and jerk off.
Yeah, that was one of those ones where I think it might have been on like Prism.
Oh, Prism, back in the day.
And I might have saw it like just because it was on or something like that. And like my mom and dad were in another room or something. And I was like, I don't know what this is.
Is this your first experience with tits?
No, that wasn't my first one. I'm sure my first one was like a magazine. National Geographic or something like that.
Oh, you've seen the black women in the window.
Because that was the only thing you could see in the library in school.
Yeah, running around. That's crazy.
But yeah, so so MASH. That's my fifth.
You fucker! I had to bounce one out for that.
Go on, I did you a favor. You know it had to be in your list.
I totally forgot about MASH. I do want to mention one thing before we move on. There is an honorable mention, and I only say this because it's not a movie, but it should be mentioned because it is the greatest miniseries of all time in my mind.
I agree. I know where you're going.
You know, just Band of Brothers.
Yes.
It's just it's so surreal. It's so, what they did is so believable. It's almost unbelievable. But
I think they honestly set the pace for the shows that came on Netflix. The shows that came, obviously it was HBO that did it, but they set the pace for serial storytelling in a big, big way.
Oh yeah. I mean, every episode is so powerful and so good.
Yeah.
And the fact that they back it up with actual live people, like, I mean, there's a storyline to it. These people lived. Some of them are still alive. And they talk about it. They talk about their experiences of getting through the horrors and also getting through them together.
Yes. Dude, I just looked it up. I think it's almost 20 years old. 2001.
I love it. I watch it.
It's great.
And it's like one of those things where if I see it on TV, I know I'm going to watch it, so I try to avoid it. Because I'll watch it, and I'll have to pick it up. I have to like watch the next fucking episode.
Dude,
the next
it's so amazing.
Episode. So, but
the
I just
firefight and like and these were, dude, we're geezers compared to these kids.
These dudes were like 18, 19 years old.
Some of them younger, 17 years old, because they would lie to get into the service. Do you imagine 2 years older than my oldest?
3 years older than Nate.
Could you imagine him carrying a gun, running through, fire and mud and just sleeping on rock? Like, you can't even.
No.
You have to do it.
Not mean anything bad. It just.
I can't either.
No, I mean, but you know why they do it that way. You know why they've done it that way through history, and history has always had it's because the younger mind is not developed.
Yes,
so
you mentioned that, and it made so much sense.
25 years old, that's when the mind starts being fully developed, and when you're not developed enough emotionally, you're just going to go off your hard emotions like fear, and anything else.
Very basic.
Basic emotions, and that's what militaries throughout history have fed on to build their armies.
Yeah, and then if someone who's a little older, who's their commander or their sergeant or whatever, they're gonna implant, and I don't mean that's just a poor choice of words, but they're gonna wire them as best as they can to be. They're going to be more malleable and more susceptible to suggestion. Exactly. 16 weeks of boot camp. And you come out at that Play-Doh form of your brain, you come out a little different.
Yeah, because the whole idea of it is to, I wouldn't say brainwash, but make you more like realizing that, if you get in the battle, you could die and not affect you.
Yeah, well, the thing that I've not served in the military, so I'm really talking out of my
So am I. I honor everybody that ever has.
1,000%. But what I surmise and what I suspect, again, not knowing anything, is that what I think is the most interesting, kind of coolest part about that experience, from what I've heard from people I knew and people I've had conversations with, is that brotherhood thing.
Oh yeah,
like that is really something. Like you get to a point to where you're working as one for a year, from what I've heard, and you'll die for the dude next to you. Like that not a lot of people doing that shit.
No, not anymore.
No.
Well, that's why I always think I'm like a history buff. That's why I always loved World War II, because it was simpler. There was I think Jamie said it. There was a bad guy. Were evil. They were evil.
Yeah.
And it's easier in your mind and everybody else's mind is to back that up, because you know what you're doing is going to be the right thing to do.
Yeah. You have morality on your side.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're but in other wars, Vietnam Wars, and even other wars throughout history, it's not always the case. It's just
the enemy wasn't clear.
It just was political. You know what I mean? And it's not that easy to hate or go after somebody you don't think is evil.
Yeah, well, that was the thing about 9/11 too. It's like you never saw a world more unified.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It was like,
since World War II.
Yes, we never saw a world so unified.
Yeah.
So, what's your second, or I should say fourth?
Oh, MASH was my fourth. I booted it out.
MASH is your fourth? Okay. All right. So I'll pick up my fourth. My fourth, I'm going to say Dirty Dozen, 1967.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Lee Marvin, Telly Savalas, fellow Greek. Aristoteles Telly Savalas. Bald guy. He played Kojak.
Oh, yeah. I thought you liked him.
Charles Bronson,
yeah.
Jim Brown, Donald Sutherland, George Kennedy. It was one of those movies to where I mentioned this before, Rogue One is definitely a callback to the Dirty Dozen.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
and that, let's get these guys out of jail. Let's say, listen, it's either you get court-martialed, killed, or whatever for your heinous acts, but you're such a dirty bastard that you're going to be the best person to fight or to complete this mission.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To create desperation and you'll create brave men, that type of thing. And it was like, that concept. And I saw this movie, I was probably 13, 14 years old, maybe even younger than that. It was the same thing we were talking about before we hit the mics, which is like our parents. My mom would watch those old war movies or old westerns and shit like that. And I'd be like, well, it's only 7 channels. I'll watch this.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you're like, damn, that was good. That's how I got into spaghetti westerns. All right, what's your third?
Captain America, the first one.
Son of a bitch, man! I didn't even think about that.
I didn't either. I came home. She was watching
First Avenger.
She was watching Thor, and then the First Avenger came on after Thor. So I was like, "Fuck, man! I can use this one."
Got a tie-in.
It does.
Shit.
It's World War II, man.
Totally went by me.
I did too.
It's good.
It's good. That's why it's third. Because and the more and more I watch it, the more and more I truly like it.
Yeah,
it's still not my top 5. Maybe not my top 5.
6 or 7.
Yeah, but the reason why it's on my top 5 here is because it links into one of my all-time favorite genres, and I can't let that go.
Yeah, dude, that was a good call. I totally took Marvel off the table.
I did too until I saw that, and I'm like, you know what? That's a huge tie-in. We can use this.
Yeah, it's Germans, it's Nazis, it's World War II, man. It qualifies. All right, that's a good one. I like that. I'm going to go with number 3, Platoon. Only because when I saw it, I was probably 14. And that's a rough movie for a 14-year-old to watch.
Yeah.
I walked out of that movie. I never walked out.
That's the one where they rape the girls and all that, right?
Yeah, rape. There's like, it was the first war movie where I saw, of course I knew about
Charlie Sheen. That's right. He was in it.
Charlie Sheen.
He was where it's so ironic. He was playing the good soldier because we know of the guy that actually turned into, he'd be the guy doing all that shit.
Dude, he could have been on top of the heap up there with a Tom Hanks.
Oh, he's a great actor back in the day. Wall Street was phenomenal,
dude. Right out of the gate, he gets Platoon and then Wall Street, and you're like, oh my god, this dude, and he's got Sheen in his name.
Didn't he win an Oscar? I thought he won an Oscar for Wall Street. No, he won it for Platoon.
Did he really?
I think he did.
That movie got all kinds of awards and everything. It was a fantastic movie. It's got a hell of a cast, like you said. Charlie Sheen, Tom Berenger, Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe was
Forrest
the guy.
Whitaker.
Willem Dafoe was his buddy, that the one lieutenant that was on his side.
Yes,
right? But
he's the one from the poster.
Yeah,
where he throws his arms in the air and he gets them mowed down.
He's so good. He's so good, man.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
Yeah, he's really that whole cast. That movie,
but I think he's really came into his own in the last 10 years, dude. He's been more prevalent in movies.
Yeah, he's
been around for a long time, but I just feel like the movies he has more impactful, serious movies.
Yeah, I think he's constantly working. Yeah. He's constantly working. You constantly see him. He's not always a leading character. He's a supporting character, but he crushes it when he's supporting.
Oh yeah.
He was Green Goblin, whether
I know
like
that
it or not. But he's been in some the what's it called movies. I forget who it is, but he works with Bill Murray all the time. He did.
He just did a movie with the kid that's supposed to be Batman, The Lighthouse or something like that.
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, because he plays.
Is it on, in the theaters or is it on like a Netflix?
I think it's on like Netflix or something like that.
Yeah,
it's like a captain or something like that.
He's awesome, man.
Yeah. So,
but that movie, when I walked out of that movie theater, I felt heavy. I felt a weight. I was like, holy shit, because it's relevant. Because my dad and my uncle got drafted. My uncle wound up going to Vietnam.
Actually, I felt like that with Full Metal Jacket.
Oh yeah, well that one's awesome. too. I mean, that's Stanley Kubrick
That was such a good movie.
crushing.
Yes, Platoon was more about the infantry trooper that was on his own.
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket was all about the group of buddies that were together since boot camp.
So, we want to hear a fun fact?
Go ahead.
All the actors at Platoon were put in a 14-day boot camp in the Philippines before filming started. The training included military haircuts for the entire cast,
Makes sense.
sleeping in a jungle with night watch rotations, eating military rations, and not being allowed to shower the whole time. So they put them in the shit, man. Not in the shit. It's the Philippines. It's not like they were actually in combat. But
And they probably had security within like a mile radius around that fucking area.
Philippines is a civilized country, so they didn't have anything to worry about. But
It's a province of the United States, not a province of what do you call them? Is it a province?
I don't know. You challenge me.
It's like Puerto Rico and stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever, go on. Kind of like
We make fun of Trump.
yeah.
But
It's an island surrounded by water.
it's an isthmus. But you said Full Metal Jacket, and it didn't make my 5.
But it was close. Then Platoon.
Actually, it did. It was my next one.
Hey, don't jump ahead, man.
Oh no, it didn't make my 5. I'm sorry. It was my 6th one. It was Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
And the reason that was
in my top 10. Full Metal Jacket and Platoon were in my top 10. But I guess maybe because I'm just not a fan of the time period. That's why I didn't go there.
What, the Vietnam thing?
The Vietnam thing. Oh,
Yeah.
quick little note on MASH.
Yeah.
MASH was originally supposed to be about Vietnam. But at the time, they didn't want... They said, no. The United States government...
1970. Holy shit, man. That's
That's
in the middle of it.
That's why they went to the Korean War. Because the U.S. government said, no. They did something where they pushed it. They said, no, you're not doing it.
Yeah, it's like...
Or you could have Chinatown. Chinatown was a great fucking movie, too. I forgot about that.
Chinatown. What's that have to do with war?
Not Chinatown. Wasn't there a movie called Chinatown?
Chinatown was Jack Nicholson. He was a PI.
Oh, well, no, I'm thinking about I was thinking about the show.
There's a show called Chinatown.
I believe back in the early 90s.
I think I know what you're talking about. Anyway, the Full Metal Jacket, the thing that, it had Vincent D'Onofrio in it, our local kingpin.
Yep.
Matthew Modine. One of the things, and I think we might have touched this, so this is Stanley Kubrick, and Stanley Kubrick owns the set, man. He's the director, but he puts people through the paces. And one of the things, he tortured, what's her name in The Shining? Shelley Duvall. Was it Shelley Duvall? Yeah. He tortured, and just because this is what he wanted out of the scene. So, and he's known to be a little eccentric, to say the least. But one of the scenes that was cut from Full Metal Jacket was a scene where there was these soldiers in the background playing soccer, and it was a human head. And so they were like, "Oh, Stanley, that's a bit much. We might have to cut that from the movie." But Lee Ermey, you remember that Lee Ermey? He was the drill sergeant.
Yeah.
I think the most powerful part of that whole thing was boot camp.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, no, maybe I take that back. Where they're basically going through the hell of boot camp. You got Matthew Modine. They got everybody it's really centered around Matthew Modine, of course, but then they also lean heavily on Vincent D'Onofrio's character, Private Pyle.
Oh, yeah.
And what's his name? Lee Ermey or R. Lee Ermey. He's, of course, the drill sergeant. And he's like, "Look at you, Private Pyle. You're a worthless piece of shit, pal."
I love that guy. He's like a drill sergeant, 20 different movies?
Yeah, that was his shtick, right?
Yeah, right? He got paid handsomely for being
Exactly.
a drill sergeant. He was a drill sergeant, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was in the military as a drill sergeant.
Yeah, he was.
And then he was I feel like he was in a Sandler movie where he actually took a shit on somebody's front lawn.
Probably.
Yeah, anyway. But, that scene where Private Pyle is in the bathroom and he's got his rifle and he's in his skivvies, he's in his underwear, and he turns around and, spoilers, the sergeant starts giving him shit, basically saying, "You get your worthless ass out," whatever it was, and he just fucking shoots the sergeant. And then turns around and fucking blows his brains out. And I'm
my
like,
God.
Holy shit, this movie just went up. It was hovering around 8, and now it went to 11. And nobody fucking told me it was coming. I was like, holy shit, what the hell? Holy.
You thought he was like going to talk him down. And
well,
like,
they weren't even in war yet.
Yeah.
They didn't even hit the jungle yet or Vietnam yet. And I was like, wow, we got started because they beat Private Pile with the soap and everything. And
my favorite line.
Heavy movie.
My favorite line is that in that movie is "Tu beaucoup."
Yeah, black man, tu beaucoup.
Okay, $10.
What we have here is Mississippi Black Snake.
You knew that shit. All right, want to get to my number 2?
Go ahead, go.
Probably your number 1, but I'm going to go with it anyway. Mm-hmm. Braveheart.
Oh, it's not my number 1. But it's in my list, man. So wait, that would be my number 3.
Okay, that'll be. Well, I'm on 2. How are you on 3?
Wait, we did Full Metal Jacket,
Yeah.
Platoon. Oh, we did Platoon, and then Full Metal Jacket was number 6 for me.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. So Braveheart, man. Obviously, it's
yes.
I knew it would be in yours because you told me before it's one of your all-time favorite movies.
Yeah, it was my favorite until the Fellowship of the Ring came out.
Yeah, you can't use them as war movies. No, my favorite scene in that whole movie is when right after his wife dies, and he just goes through the gauntlet. Doesn't say a fucking word.
Amazing.
Just the shots. There's no words being sent.
Yeah. And he's prowling like
he just
a
has
tiger.
He just has like that piece of bone that tusk.
An antler.
And it is an antler, and he just shoves it right up the guy's.
Yeah.
You know, and then he gets through the whole thing, and he gets to the main guy, and he's just the guy sitting there trying to plead for his life, and you think in the back of your mind, thinking for a second, he might listen to him.
Yeah.
He jacks him up. Once clicks a slice.
Yep.
And the best part is the guy just like falls on him and just slowly goes down.
And like he knew in that look on his face, Mel Gibson's character, he's like, William Wallace is like, it didn't do anything for me. Like you mattered so little.
Yeah.
But I had to do this because that's who I am.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking man.
Yeah.
You know, and he lays waste to that whole troop. And then even when the guy, like you said, slumps down on him, he has this empty look like she's still gone.
Yeah.
She's still dead.
And I don't give a fuck.
And nothing matters.
Yep.
Even though I fucking chewed these guys up like they were paper.
Dude, it was awesome.
It was awesome.
It was one of the best. It's one of the greatest scenes in TV. And I also liked his best friend's
Seamus.
The dad.
Oh, the dad. Seamus' dad, yeah.
Oh, I like Seamus too. Seamus is good.
They couldn't kill that bastard.
That dad was awesome. They're talking about, what were they talking about? No.
Oh, he had the arrow in him. He had the arrow in him. And they were debating.
Fucking boy!
Yeah. Come here, boy.
No, the best scene with him was when they were talking about how to defeat an army with heavy horse. William Wallace goes, well, me and my Uncle Argyle used to talk about, building spears.
Yeah.
It's like, someone's long, what's spears going to do? He goes, well, you lay them out. Well, how long do they have to be? About as tall as a man. And he's like, well, not every man's as big as the other. He's like, your mother's telling stories about me again. I did not do it justice, and I know I didn't.
Everybody knows who you're talking about.
But it's
whoever
hilarious.
hasn't seen that movie has
and
no
I did
business.
like The Irishman too.
Yeah, my island.
My island? What do you mean your island?
It's
He's
mine.
talking about- God, fucking crazy.
Who told me? The Lord told me. It's my island.
Fucking crazy.
It's a great movie. There's so much, and the fact that it was steeped in history. I mean,
It was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, and they really. There was a lot of fabrication.
And this is back in the day when
Great.
Mel Gibson, before he went crazy, brought his shit.
Started calling cops sugar tits and stuff like
directing
that.
and acting. Now you see Mel Gibson, you just see him as a beat up old actor.
Yeah.
He kind of lost that. He kind of had that, like, I don't know, fun charm about him.
Yeah. I mean, the Lethal Weapon movies, they were
Dude,
fantastic.
one of my all-time favorite movies.
Right? I mean, he was at the top of his game when those movies came out.
Lethal Weapon 4 and 3 were just ridiculously... The banter between all three of them when
Joe Pesci came in.
Leo Getz. Yeah. Not the second one.
Leo wants Leo Getz.
Not the second one. They just picked on him a lot in the second one. But the banter between the three of them. And then you had Chris Rock in 4. It was just right.
Yeah. It's good stuff, man. I love that whole era.
Yeah. You're second.
That's a good pick, man.
You're second.
All right. My second is, what was it? I'm going to say, my second was Braveheart.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
And do we even really need to go? I bet we could say 1, 2, 3, and we'd say the same fucking one.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, dude.
Dude, the first, it's probably cinematic history, that first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
20, 25 minutes.
It's 20 minutes, yeah.
Dude, it's still, when did that movie come out? 98?
98, that's exactly right.
That scene holds true right now. I watch it, I think I watched it a couple months ago, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is still so good.
Yeah.
I don't think that will ever go away.
Yeah, put it this way. Remember when we were talking earlier before we started the show, we were talking about like, being shy and being rejection, fear of rejection going up to girls.
You're afraid to go see this movie?
No, I met my wife, and then the next day, and my wife, a beautiful woman, I've had on several occasions, more than one, I would say 2 occasions, where people have literally looked at me and said, John, after meeting my wife, your wife, she is beautiful. How did you do it? I'm like looking at him like, hey, fuck you. But
I get that about my wife.
so then, exactly, we married up for sure.
I totally married up. I knew that.
So with that in mind, the next day, shy, I meet this hot girl. The next day, Saving Private Ryan's on. She calls me. I tell her, can I call her back?
Oh, shut it down.
I was like, and I wasn't even trying to be cool.
I think you did. Totally.
Yeah. So that's how good this movie is.
Was that the first time you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first time. Because I was never a war movie guy. And so when it came out, I heard great reviews. But I was just like, well, whatever. If it comes, it goes. Whatever. It's not something I'm pining for.
Yeah.
And so I wound up seeing it on cable, and it was on. It was before DVR, so it wasn't like you had to wait for it to come on again. I mean, you did, and so yeah, I saw it.
They couldn't pause it either. It's like fuck. Man.
No pause in live TV.
Our kids are fucking so spoiled.
I know, dude. Fun fact about it: cost $11 million just to shoot the Normandy scene.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
1,000 extras. They used the Irish Army Reserves for the extras, and they said either 20 or 30 of the extras on that scene were amputees.
Oh, no shit. So when they were laying on the beach, they were actually, the guys were arms cut off.
Exactly. And their arms and legs were maybe blown
still
off.
remember the one scene where the guy picks up his arm. And
haunting, man.
Dude, I'll never forget that scene ever. It's like, I can't describe it. I mean, if you haven't seen it, dude, people out there, because not every one of us are war movie people. Like, you're not.
True.
You have to see it.
Yeah.
If you're going to watch a war movie, you have to watch that one. It embodies everything, especially that first 25 minutes that you would think a war is.
Based on real people.
Yep.
So,
are they really?
Yeah, I thought at the end that fiction.
That could have been a little fiction. I don't think there was a Saving Private Ryan story.
I thought it was just the teacher character, the Tom Hanks character.
Might have been.
But, no, you know what? It was... That's what it was. It was
Band of Brothers?
No. I'm remembering the part where Matt Damon, they flash forward and he's an old man and he's honoring, Tom Hanks and he goes to his grave and everything like that. That's what
make it worth it. He says it at the
That's
end.
what it was. I was getting that in Band of Brothers confused.
Right. There's a lot of famous people in Saving Private Ryan. Paul Giamatti was in it for a short time. Ted Danson was in it.
Oh, that's right.
He played the colonel. And did you know Tom Hanks was supposed to have where the part of the movie is right after when they decide to let the German go.
Yeah.
And they're all bickering. And then he starts he starts talking and telling him about what he does for a living. He was supposed to have a bigger speech there.
Yeah.
He cut it down because he didn't want to make the movie about him.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, given
and this is back in his height when he just won back-to-back Oscars.
Yeah. Dude, it was a game changer. The way that it's shot, how visceral it is, and how like.
Sorry, I had to pee.
Yeah, we have flushing toilets. This is not your mother's basement, but it is a basement. The how visceral it is, and how the camera movement, how they use they don't use a steady. They use a lot of handheld shots, and how the explosions. They use actual sound effects from weapons that were shot, not in a gun range in Atlanta.
Are you serious?
That's why they don't sound like. Like if you go and you listen to Decker shoot his revolver in Blade Runner, it's like a. When you hear Indiana Jones shoot his revolver in all the Indiana Jones movies, you're like, it sounds loud and it sounds tweaked. If you remember in Saving Private Ryan, it's a lot of that pop, 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 pop,
yeah.
pop. And you're like, that's probably what it sounds like.
Right.
Well, that's Steven Spielberg doing his magic.
Steven Spielberg. He wanted to create, he had to want to create it as real as possible.
Yeah.
He's put his magic in there, and you have Tom Hanks put his like charisma in the lead role, and then you had a lot of secondary actors who are really good actors. I mean,
phenomenal.
Matt Damon's. I mean, everybody knocks him and says, "Oh, he's not." I think he's a phenomenal actor.
Oh, definitely.
Dude,
go watch what's the Incredible Mr. Ripley?
Oh, I have seen it.
Holy shit!
And that was when he was young.
Yeah. When he was young, I mean, look what he did with the what's the movie with Robin Williams? I can't believe I can't remember it.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
Not
for those apples. How about those
Goodwill
apples?
Hunting.
Goodwill Hunting. Thank you. Senior moments are
back to
abundant
not
tonight.
talking to girls when you should. He didn't go up to the girl in the bar. She had to come all the way over to him. That's playing it too cool. But that is a great scene in movie history when he fucking tells the kid to go fuck it.
Yeah, the ponytail wearing schmuck. Yeah. Another fun fact about Saving Private Ryan: they everybody had to do boot camp. It's similar to Platoon.
Makes sense.
Except for Matt Damon.
Why?
Spielberg wanted them to have a little resentment towards him, so that it would add to their performances.
That's clever.
Isn't that funny?
That's why he's Spielberg, man.
That's right, man.
Even Tom Hanks?
Everybody in the platoon.
Lovable Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Tom Hanks is I could see him in a role like that. Like in real life, like him being that guy.
Yeah, and they played it up perfect. Like he wasn't a kid. He was, so he could play that leadership / fatherly role. He wasn't perfect. He had, he shook and, he was really traumatized, but his job was to the troops, and his real job was really to get home to his family.
Yeah, that's what he wanted. That's all he ever wanted.
And he just fit that mold and just embodied the character that, obviously everybody saw that in him as you're watching it. So yeah, that was awesome. It is top.
I mean, with the Tom Hanks, how he presented himself, just how he used that role to his leverage. It made the movie. I mean, the first 20 minutes were going to be fantastic anyway.
Yeah.
But to carry the next hour, you needed a guy of his stature to really lay it down.
Yeah, and it got blessed by actual veterans who were still alive from
Didn't
those
somebody
battles.
have like a seizure or something, heart attack?
Well, there was a lot of very flashback reports, and who knows if it was some sleazy marketing, but there were articles that went out that there were veterans that walked out of the theater crying and visibly shaken because it was so authentic.
Yeah, I mean, getting to that bunker was just ridiculous. And who else was in that? The Vin Diesel's in that for a short period. Probably his best acting role ever.
He's not going to see that sunshine again.
No. Tom Hanks is not looking his fucking direction for a movie, that's for sure.
Oof, that Bloodshot movie, yikes.
I didn't see it yet. I don't know about all that.
There's a ton. I just pulled up the list. It's
the guy, the one guy is pretty good. He did the medic. He's a good actor. I can never remember his name.
No, there's Tom Sizemore, Edward Burns.
Burns. He's a real good. He's awesome. He's a big time producer.
Barry Pepper, Giovanni Ribisi.
Yep.
Oh God, Adam Goldberg. He was the one that got killed by the Oppum let the German go.
Adam Goldberg.
Yeah, he was the guy that was.
Is he like the guy that makes the Goldberg show?
No, that's God. I can't remember his name. He's from Philly. But you're right. There's a slew of Bryan Cranston was in it.
Was he really?
Yeah. Paul Giamatti, Dennis Farina, Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion? Yeah, I knew he was in it. Nathan Fillion was a kid that cried. They thought it was, but I'm trying to think of Bryan Cranston. Oh, he was in the beginning, I think, when he came up to the admiral. He was
in the War Department.
War Department. He came up to the general, and he's the one who gave him the news.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Jesus!
Ton of talent, man. Ton of talent. Yeah, it's a big deal, man. Definitely a big deal. So that's my number one for sure. Now, let's put a little cherry on top of this.
Ooh, I like cherries.
I know this answer already.
Come on,
let's go outside of history.
Oh, we're going
fiction.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Come on, seriously?
Wait, we're just going to go Star Wars?
Yes, of course, man.
I was trying not to be obvious.
All right, number two. Let's put the thinking caps on. Outside of Star Wars.
Any Star Wars, because you lump it all together.
Any Star Wars.
You lump that all together?
Yeah. All the Star Wars are off the table.
All right, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have to go that.
Goddamn, we're getting predictable, brother. Battle of Helm's Deep. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Out of the trilogy, that's my favorite war movie.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that battle crushes the Return of the King battle.
Oh, yeah. The Return of the King was nice, but damn, the way it was shot. Game of Thrones, that's how it should have been shot.
Yeah, fucking season 8, you son of a bitch.
I'm trying to think of anything else like anything.
I mean, you got to go back to. I mean, the Endgame, of course.
Yeah, I was trying to think of more like history, like shows like Rome, but they didn't. They didn't do a lot of battles. They had a couple.
Gladiator, but
they didn't do a lot of battles except for the opening scene. Not saying you couldn't.
300.
Yeah, it's good. That's actually based on true.
That actually we could have put that in there. That would have snuck into my top 5.
Nah, that would have been in my top 10.
I think if I'm going to watch, I'm going with rewatch factor here. I'll watch 300 before I'll watch. Shit, no, I won't.
Spartacus.
Fuck, man. I was going to dump Dirty Dozen.
You ain't dumping Dirty Dozen.
Nah, it's not. It's not making it.
You know what's going to happen is tomorrow there's going to be a movie on that I didn't think of.
Of course.
This guy's like, fuck, I chose you to pick this one. Every time we do these things.
Yeah. Then there's old school epics, right? The Ben-Hurs and shit like that. But
see, that's not a war movie though.
That's true.
Love. I never seen the remake. Never will try.
Yeah, it's trash, dude. It's total trash.
You actually wasted your time.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but
I don't even know why they would try to remake it.
It's like Pompeii bad.
Because I'm a big Ben-Hur fan.
Yeah.
Love
the Prince of Egypt. The Disney one was better.
Prince of Egypt?
Yeah. They did a Prince of Egypt. It was Disney.
I've never seen that one.
Yeah, I think it's called Prince of Egypt. Oh, did I tell you my 23andMe? They update it because I did 23andMe.
What do you mean 23andMe?
23andMe is genetic testing to find out like your heritage and all that stuff. It's like an ancestry thing.
Okay. And
so I did it. Cindy and I did it. And I just found out.
We're related?
Yes, we're related.
You're cousins.
Damn, I just got kicked off the internet. But I have some Egyptian in me.
Do you really?
Yeah, because if you think about it, it's like you have Europe, right? And then you have the Mediterranean. And it's just a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah.
You know, you can get Tanzania, you get Egypt, you get all that stuff. Right?
Well, True Romance, you know, how he explains Sicily.
Oh, shit, man. Holy shit. That's the most epic racist scene I've ever seen.
Oh, I love it.
It is fantastic
So you
writing.
could not put that in the movies today?
No.
Absolutely not. But
Unless you're, even Quentin Tarantino, who wrote that movie, is kind of tempered all that stuff. But if you're going to write something, and if you want to do cinema like Scorsese and Coppola and Spielberg's leaning against, then they're racist.
Oh,
back
yeah.
in, you know, that's like, we were just talking about this today, where it's like someone said, we were alluding to the fact there are still people out there, mostly white people, that are thinking racism isn't around anymore. Like it's not a thing. And I was like, you can go 10 feet across your street or you know, in a 20-mile radius and turn over a rock and say, hey, there's a racist. It's not dead. Yeah. But it's still alive. So if you're going to write a movie and your movie is going to be based in something realistic and you want an antagonist to be, you can pluck an antagonist in modern day era and say, yeah, there's a racist dude and he's evil or whatever. And you should be able to write the language that a racist would say. Yeah. And not be afraid to offend somebody with a delicate sensibility.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's like when they always try to make those, when they tried to make those Southern movies like that took place in the late 1800s, early 1900s. It's like, yeah, they probably were using the N-word an awful lot.
Oh, yeah.
And putting them down. I mean, don't try to sugarcoat it and, you know, and don't say the N-word.
Yeah.
I mean,
revisionist history, man.
I hate that. Just play it as it is. If somebody has offense to it, just don't go see it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, we get it. We get it for sure. Run a little long, Nicholas. You got anything else to bring to the table?
Not tonight. I wish I did. It's just like, this is the slow time of the year for us. We're just picking up Mandalorian. I was telling Shannon tonight.
Stoked.
I am too. And I was like, I want you to watch this with me. 'Cause she does like Star Wars. Mm-hmm. So it's just, I overpower her with what I like about Star Wars. She got mad at me because we didn't ask her if she wanted to go to the movie.
Star Wars?
Yeah.
Well, you fucked up, man.
I always fuck up.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this week's episode of the Nick, John, and Jamie Show. We're on all the popular social media, so just check us out. You can find us at NJJ Show. And if you're listening to us now, you might not prefer us on this venue, what do you want to call it? Whatever. And we're also on, we're on a lot of different things. I can't think tonight, Nicholas.
John, you're hurting there, brother.
I know. I'm struggling. It's getting late.
We'll just edit that out.
How about this?
Just copied over with a previous episode. You'll be fine.
That's right. How about this? Subscribe. Whatever you're listening to us on now, just subscribe. That's the point. Thank you, everybody. Have an awesome week.